Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a great day so far. I have to apologise if you can hear what sounds like a really loud sweeping type of noise. It's the neighbours, as per the usual, have chosen this very moment to make the loudest possible noise throughout this filming experience. Just be happy you don't live here and have this happening to you on a daily basis, because I do. So today I wanted to talk to you guys. You know how I love to chat things through with you. I like to hear things from your perspective. I like to hear things from your perspective. I like to talk to you about how I'm feeling and my thoughts on things and hear you guys' opinions and it from your side, because obviously from my side I am a creator, I do have a channel, but I'm also a subscriber, a viewer, as I say to you guys all the time, and sometimes those things lead me to different questions and I see things from both perspectives, and so I'm very interested in you guys' perspective if you are just a subscriber, if you're just a viewer, and also if you have a channel as well, what your perspective is on this. So what I want to talk to you guys about is makeup addiction, makeup shopping addiction, what is healthy, what is normal, what is acceptable, how we feel about it, whether we think it's a thing or not. I know some people don't believe makeup addiction or shopping addiction even is a real addiction. So here on my channel I'm always very conscious, and I know I say to you guys a lot, be smart with your money. Not everybody has the same budget. Remember, a lot of what you see on YouTube, they're YouTubers, they're makeup artists, their collection does not need to look like your collection. You don't need to buy every single thing that comes out, and I'm always trying to be really conscious of like responsible messaging on my channel and not trying to tell you guys that you need things that you don't, that think you should be buying 100 different foundations or you should be buying 500 different palettes. I do always try and keep that message on my channel. So the reason I'm talking to you about this today, the reason this is in my head, is that the last couple of weeks I uploaded a couple of videos on my channel. The first was my top drawer. So that's my drawer that keeps all of my kind of go-to day-to-day makeup in, and I took you guys through it on a tour to show you what those products were. The second video where this came up was in my foundation, my high-end foundations drawer. So that is like the other side of my table where I keep all of the rest of my high-end foundations. So the purpose of that video was not supposed to be like showing off how many foundations I've got or look at my huge collection of foundations. It was more so to respond to people who were asking me after Foundation Geddon, how do you feel about your existing foundations? Are you still using that one? I haven't heard you talk about this one for a while. How does that one compare? That's what I was kind of aiming for with that video. But on reflection and reading some of the comments I was getting on both of those videos, I felt it made me feel really uncomfortable, because whether or not this was my intention, lots of you guys were feeling like, looking especially with that foundations video where there were over 30 foundations in that drawer, that I was like justifying you having hundreds and hundreds of foundations, and this made you feel like, oh, you know, your crazy foundations, that's like justification because I have loads, and therefore it's okay for you to have all those same collection. And a few people commented saying that, oh, because of me you guys have got all the same foundations and things like that, and I started to feel really like bad and guilty and worried about the messages that I was giving on my channel and actually how they're getting skewed and crossed and things like that. So that's what kind of led me to start thinking about this, and whether, you know, I'm a makeup addict, whether I'm a makeup hoarder, and how you kind of categorize that, how you recognize that, what it feels like, what it looks like, and what the differences are. So I just want to start off by saying I'm not here to shame or judge anybody. What you guys do, what you guys buy, what your guys' budget is, what your situation is, I have no idea about, and it's none of my business. So I'm not here to like tell you off or criticize you for what you're doing or what your makeup looks like or any of the above. I'm just here to open a discussion, and I mainly want to talk to people who understand what I'm saying and feel a certain type of way about it. That's who I want to talk to. If you are happy, if you are more than happy, if you're not causing yourself an issue, if you're just enjoying makeup as a hobby and everything about it is a positive thing, I'm not talking to you. Don't feel like I'm criticizing you or telling you off for having a hobby that brings you joy and gives you release and comfort and is therapeutic, because that's exactly me. That's how I am. Those of you who feel under pressure, stressed, feel like you're panic, anxiety buying, feel like you're buying because of FOMO, feel like you can't keep up, and it's causing stress financially and emotionally on you, those are the people that I'm talking to. So if this doesn't apply to you, don't feel like I'm shaming you for having a huge makeup collection, because for lots of you that won't be an issue. It will be fine. It will be something that you're comfortable with financially and emotionally and personally, and it is just your hobby, which is not an issue. So what's the difference? So to me, I feel like there's three categories of people who kind of live in this YouTube makeup world. There are people who are professionals. So in this category, you've got your YouTubers, your Instagram influencers, you've got makeup artists, whether or not they're on YouTube or whether or not they're on Instagram. Makeup artists will obviously have a much larger collection, or certainly would have a need to have a larger collection than your average person. They need to have much more shades of foundation, loads of shades of concealers, eyeshadow palettes that work on different skin tones and different skin types, and all of that kind of stuff. So you have your professional category, and that makes an explanation as to why they might have more makeup, why they're spending more on makeup. It's part of their job. It's kind of a business expense, and I kind of sit in that category. Obviously I have a YouTube channel, but it's not my day job, it's not my full-time job, but I certainly do have a purpose to making purchases that I don't need because I review them here, and that's what that foundation drawer is a result of. I don't have those foundations because I want to buy every foundation that comes out, because I'm desperate to try every foundation that comes out, because somebody else is telling me I need it, because it looked nice on somebody else. I purposefully buy foundations to review, for review purposes, and that's why I have so many of them. It's not because I'm addicted to buying foundations, I'm obsessed with buying foundations. I have lots that I love and enjoy, and if I deleted my channel tomorrow, that drawer wouldn't exist. If I didn't have my channel, it wouldn't exist. I'd have 4 or 5 foundations tops, and that would be that. If I ran out of one, I might repurchase or try a different one. If I wanted to try a new one, I'd probably go and get a sample instead of buying a new bottle. That's kind of the bracket that I sit in. I make sensible purchases, and I make them based on, one, if I need it and I don't have something similar to it just for my own personal use, or the other side is if I feel like it's a viable purchase to review on my channel. If I feel like that product has enough interest in it that people are constantly asking me for a review on it, if I have the money in my bank to pay for it easily and comfortably, and I feel like I'm going to make a return on that product from the review video. Otherwise, I don't purchase it. I have no emotional need or strength or desire to buy something that I'm not going to use and that doesn't make a viable review. And the next category is like a makeup hobbyist. So these are people who buy makeup for a hobby. They might call themselves a makeup collector or a makeup junkie, but it's not out of control. They're buying within their means. They're buying because they enjoy it, because they have positive feelings about it. It might be therapeutic. I definitely feel like I fit into this category a little bit, as well as the first one, because I do love putting on makeup. I love using my makeup. I find it very relaxing getting ready in the morning. If my husband is home and it's a weekend, and I'll spend an hour just playing with makeup, and that's like my me time, my special time. So I love makeup as well, but it's again very much like a hobby. It's a chill thing, it's a positive thing for me, so therefore I kind of fit between the first and second bracket. And then you have the category that concerns me, and this is what I would call a makeup addict. Again, I'm sure people will disagree with me, and that's fine. This is just my opinion. So these are people who may have started off in one or either of the other categories, or maybe they just started off straightway getting very, very carried away. So the difference for me with an addiction is control. So if you have no impulse control, if you're having a negative reason for making a purchase, whether that be that you feel anxious unless you buy that thing, or you feel anxious about not buying something, you feel stressed about it, or you're buying it as a coping strategy for those feelings. Maybe you're buying makeup to cope with anxiety, or you're buying makeup to cope with depression or stress, or if you're getting yourself into financial difficulty but you're buying anyway. I read a couple of definitions about addiction in general so that I could kind of establish how I felt, about those categories, and those are just my categories, by the way. I'm sure people will have more or different or move them around. That's just how I kind of felt like I categorized things when I was trying to process my thoughts on this. So what I found as a common description when we're talking about an actual addiction, whether that be drugs, alcohol, whatever, and that is whether it causes you harm. So whether that's financial harm, whether it's harm to your relationships, harm to your stress and your mental health, an addiction is going to cause harm and it's at your detriment, and you have some lack or a total lack of impulse control when it comes to doing it, using it, or buying it. That's kind of what an addiction is. And that's why I know that I don't have it, and I've kind of been like reflecting on this as to why I kind of feel like I feel differently to lots of the people I talk to on my channel, lots of the people I see in comments on Instagram, because I don't have any like need to get stuff. Sometimes I talk to you guys about FOMO, and I need to be more aware of using that term, because for me what FOMO means is I have like a fear of seeing something in use once it's sold out and thinking, oh, I wish I'd got it, it does look different to something I'd got, it does look like something I would have liked to have, would have liked to use, and I could have bought it, I had the money. So that's what FOMO means to me, and I'm going to be a little bit more careful about using that term, because I think to other people FOMO is a bigger thing and a more stressful and a more anxiety inducing thing. So fear of missing out will be literally fear of everybody else having something that I don't have, and I'm the only one who hasn't got that product, and everyone else is buying that eyeshadow palette, so I need to have it. It can be a lot deeper than that, and that's not how I feel about things, but I think people have kind of misconstrued that, so I'm going to try carefully not to use that term anymore. I'm also not going to be doing any more like makeup collection videos, because I really don't want to feel like I'm contributing to this, or I'm in any way making you guys think that your collections should look like mine. I don't feel that way. I would be very shocked, and I was very shocked, that so many people were saying I have as many foundations as you, and these are people who are just viewers or subscribers. They're not a professional makeup artist, they're not reviewing things for use, and again, a lot of those people will just love to have those foundations and love to have that many choices. But some of you, I'm sure, have got a lot of makeup that is out of control. It's putting you under financial pressure and stress, might be straining relationships, and might be causing you all kinds of issues, and really it's unnecessary for you. You don't need that much makeup. I know I certainly don't need all of those 30 foundations. The reason I have them is to review them for you guys, and again, my purpose for that was trying to help you guys make smart purchases and smart choices, not to make you feel like you need to have every foundation that I have, because I would give most of that drawer away if I hadn't have used it, and if I didn't have a need to, you know, to have the bottles for future videos and things like that, literally to do with my channel. I don't keep most foundations if I don't like them. If I use a foundation for a review and it's not a favourite, it's not something I feel like I need to talk about again, it's not going to be in my monthly favourites, it's not going to be something I come back to in summer, etc., then it leaves my house. I either rehome it, I might sell it, I might give it to a friend, I might donate it, but depending on how much I've used it and what the product is. I certainly don't feel a need to keep hold of all of these things that I've reviewed. I'm not like a makeup hoarder, which again, I think some people will say that they hoard makeup because they just want to keep it all and they like having lots of it around. For me, another big issue here is viewers encouraging channels or influencers or beauty gurus or beauty bloggers to make purchases that they didn't want to make or weren't going to make. And I talked about this on my community page because I had quite a few comments about it recently, and I'm going to show you an example. I've blocked this person's name out because I don't want to embarrass them, I don't want to shame them, and I don't want anyone to go and attack them. I'm just using this as an example because I don't know, sometimes people don't believe me what it's like, but this is an example of just one of many comments that I get if I choose not to purchase something for review, or if I choose not to purchase review something on my channel. This is the kind of messages that YouTubers get. You guys know I don't receive PR really at all, like very minimal from a couple of brands, and mainly not makeup. Therefore, anything I review on my channel I purchase with my own money, and my channel makes very minimal amount of money, so it certainly doesn't cover everything I purchase to review. And the reason for that is I'm, you know, a growing channel, I'm pretty small still, and therefore my goal is obviously to grow my channel, grow my community here, and keep my community happy and try to do things that interest them, reviews that interest you guys, things that you are really interested in. So that's why sometimes I poll you to say, which of these are you guys interested in? Which one of these do you guys want me to review? And that really helps me make my choices. So I have to make my choices, I have to budget. I know lots of people are different, but personally I refuse to get into debt over makeup. And by that I mean I don't have any credit cards, I have no credit cards, I have no debt other than my mortgage. I have no store credit, I have no Afterpay, I don't do Klarnas in the UK, I know in the US I think it's called Afterpay, I don't split payments. If I don't have the money in my bank account when that thing is for sale, I don't buy it because I just do not want to go down that route. And I know some people will and they're able to control it and they don't mind putting stuff on credit cards and things like that, but my personal choice, especially when it comes to my channel, is that I'm not going to get into debt. I'm not going to add debt onto a credit card. I'm not going to put things on buy now but pay later, things like that. I don't feel comfortable with it, and I don't encourage that, and I don't feel that I should ever encourage that in you guys. I don't think it's a smart route to go down for lots of people. So I then have to budget. I have a budget that's like my makeup budget, things that I might need, things I've run out of, and that kind of stuff, things that I just want to buy or try for myself, or something I don't feel like I have, a new one of these, a blush shade I don't have, something unique that I don't feel like I've got in my collection. I have that budget. And then I have a budget for my channel, and that one I'm very strict on. Like, I don't want to be buying every single release that comes out, because I'm not going to be able to buy every single shade of every single release that comes out across every single brand every day of the week, month, year. One, I'm not going to have time to make that many videos, and two, that is how I'm going to end up in debt. And I've seen so many videos of people mentioning recently, either themselves or other influencers, other bloggers that they know of, who have got into very serious financial trouble from doing exactly that. So please, please don't pressure YouTubers, influencers to make purchases. And there's nothing wrong with saying, oh, I'd love to see you review such and such a palette. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this thing. I wish you'd review this. That stuff is fine. You know, obviously we ask for your feedback. You know, tell me, what would you like to see next? What would you like me to review? Let me know. If people are saying that, of course they're asking for you to tell them, and they want to hear what you guys are after. That's absolutely fine. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is when you've said, I'm not going to be purchasing that, when you've said, I'm not going to be picking up that, or I don't plan to review that, and then people are giving you comments like the one I showed you, really, really pressuring, having a go at you for not reviewing it, guilting you, giving you a hard time about not buying something. I think it's so irresponsible, and I know most people are doing it innocently and not realizing the effect that it could have, but honestly, YouTubers, there's a lot of pressure anyway to do that, and some people aren't financially able to do that, and some people aren't strong enough and as good with finances as they need to be to manage that kind of stuff. So I really just want to encourage you guys to have a think about how you're interacting with influencers and whether you're being fair in what you're asking from them as far as spending money, because I definitely feel like here on YouTube there is a real pressure and what can easily turn into financial difficulties or makeup addiction, because someone feels like in order to be successful, in order to grow their channel, they have to buy every single thing, and then they're getting pressure from their audience, and that's just adding to it on top. I think influencers and YouTubers are just as easily drawn into this sort of addiction or irresponsible spending or getting themselves into trouble as anybody else. So my main advice to you guys is, one, do not feel like you have to have a collection the same as a YouTuber's, or that is normal, that a beauty blogger's collection is what your collection should look like and it justifies you having the same size one. Remember, they're making a profit from theirs. Remember that theirs is for business use and it's not just for using in their room and, you know, to look good on a daily basis. They have a different need and a different way and a different reason for purchasing makeup than your average person. So don't feel pressured. Please don't feel FOMO, that other people, that these bloggers, they buy everything and you want to buy everything and they're talking about this and they love it and therefore you need it. You don't need it. With makeup these days, especially if you've been a makeup junkie for a while, you've most likely got every shade of eyeshadow you could ever hope to use. You've most likely got plenty of foundations, concealers, powders, things like that. There's no rush for you guys. For me, I'm like, if a foundation comes out, I have to buy it that day, get the video up, get my review done as quickly and as soon as possible. I can't wait. I can't wait for payday. I can't wait to have a sample. I can't wait to try someone else's. I can't wait to go into store to be shade matched, because I lose that window of that video performing well, because it has to be as quick as possible before there are 3,000 other reviews and mine gets drowned. If you aren't reviewing makeup, you have no rush. There's no reason to rush. And I know that some people are going to say, what about limited edition? If it goes out of stock. But again, things like foundations, things like eyeshadow palettes, things that aren't limited edition, there's no need to rush. Do not put yourself under financial stress or just stress and anxiety in general over something that's going to be there in a few weeks, in a few months, when your current one has run out. You don't have the same rush. There's no rush. What are you rushing for? Stop it. Stop it. I know that other people are going to disagree with me or feel a different way about this, but my personal advice to anybody, and I give the same advice in my job and the same advice to the young people I work with, don't get into debt. Definitely don't get into debt over makeup. Definitely don't. Don't be putting makeup on credit cards, on store cards. Don't be doing afterpay, because afterpay doesn't mean never pay. Just so you know, it's not free, and I know it feels that way. You go in and maybe you hand over a store card instead of a credit card or cash, or you know, oh, keep putting it on afterpay, keep putting it on afterpay. It's free. It isn't free. You still have to pay for these things, and actually interest and all those kind of things on store cards can be crazy. If you don't have the money comfortably in your bank and you don't have other things that are more priorities, things that are more urgent, bills to pay, things to pay for your kids, things to do for yourself, then just leave it for now. Wait it out. You don't have to buy every single thing. So there you have it. That is kind of everything I wanted to talk to you guys about. I know some people are going to feel some type of way, whether they're cross with me, whether they're offended, whatever it is, and I'm just okay with that. I know I have slight anxiety about putting this video up because I feel like it's going to wind some people up, maybe because it hits too close to home, maybe because it makes them feel guilty, or it's kind of, you know, making them question whether what they're doing is responsible, or whether they're just offended because they feel like there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. So I just want to say to you guys, don't feel offended by this. I'm not judging you. Like I said, if you have a huge makeup collection 10 times the size of mine and you've no professional reason, you know, to have that, you're not a blogger, you're not a makeup artist, but you are happy with your collection and you just enjoy it and everything about it makes you happy, and you're not putting strain on your finances, and you don't feel an uncontrollable impulse, and you're not buying because of anxiety, and you're not buying to deal with stress instead of dealing with it in a more practical way, this doesn't apply to you. This is only applying to those people who really actually feel like they have a problem and know that they have one, and that the makeup addiction and this buying addiction in general and the FOMO and Instagram and YouTube is making a negative impact on their life, and a dangerous impact on their life. Those are the only people that I'm speaking to here. Anyone else who feels like they're totally in control, their finances are absolutely unbothered, they're not getting into debt, you don't have other reasons for buying other than you enjoy it and it gives you pleasure and it gives you joy and it's your hobby. I know whatever I say as far as disclaimers, I'm still going to get people cross with me, but I just felt so concerned after getting all these comments that I had been encouraging people to fall into this bracket, or that I had been exacerbating people's issues for them, or that I'd been encouraging or enabling people. And actually people have been saying that to me, that I enable them or I enable their addiction and things like that, and they're saying it in like a fun way and in a harmless way, but it really makes me worried about what I'm doing, because I just don't want to give those messages at all. That really concerns me. So just know from now on, I'm not going to be doing collection type videos, because I just want to steer away from giving anybody those types of feelings. And let's just talk about it in the comments. Let's talk about how we help each other, how we make responsible kind of decisions, what we do to make sure that we're not getting sucked in all the time or feeling like we have to buy stuff all the time. I know we all have so many good hints and tips to doing that better and managing that better, that let's all help each other out in the comments down below. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.